Here's a secret I wish I knew sooner. How to make the millionaire choice so that I can speed up my process of becoming a millionaire, and how to become empowered to become a millionaire. And that's why we brought Tony Bradshaw in. And in today's session, he will be talking about how you too can make the millionaire choice. The first question I have is, what's the secret to your success? And did planning to become a millionaire have anything to do with it? Welcome to Awakened Titans podcast with Lily Patrascu, mind-blowing conversations with influential business titans sharing how you can manifest abundance, love, joy, success through quantum awakening, quantum manifestation, quantum healing, quantum miracles, exponential business growth, and innovative products and services.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me on the show today, Lily. And you know, it's interesting. You say the secret of your success. I don't know that there's just one secret, right? There's probably a lot of little secrets that you do, and you have to stack up all of these good decisions. If there was a secret, it would probably be just trying to make better decisions than bad decisions, more good decisions than bad decisions, because we all make mistakes. And it's a question of if we're going to keep repeating those mistakes or that vein of mistakes, those bad decisions, or we're going to start making good decisions. And there's a lot of different things you can do to start making bad decisions. So, you know, when I was 25, I had been making bad money decisions up till I was 25 years old. And then that's when I had kind of like what I call my financial awakening, where I got my first W-2 out of college. And, you know, here in the States, that's your tax form, how much money you paid. And I'm like, wow, I made $39,000 and I don't have any of it. Like, where did it go? And I'm actually in debt, $16,000. So fortunately, I kind of figured out that was not a good formula. I'm a math guy. And so I decided to make a shift. And that's when I started learning about money and changing the way I handle my finances. And what I realized is it doesn't take a lot to get moving in the right direction, but you have to get moving in the right direction.
Thank you. Tell us some of your top achievements and successes you're most proud of. If you can quantify it as well, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, I came from a lower income family. So my parents mismanaged money. My dad dropped out of school when he was in 10th grade to support himself. My mom managed convenience stores, never had any college education. So, I'm a first generation college graduate, got a mechanical engineering degree, went off and started doing that. But the reason I went into mechanical engineering, so you talk about accomplishments, was, I rebuilt my first car engine when I was 15 years old. And, when you think about it, for me, it was just doing it. That was just normal. You just go out there, you work on this thing, you fix it and you repair it. And, but getting older, I realized that was a sign of being a problem solver. And I had a boss on my first job out of college as an engineer. It's a guy's named Jeff Bennett, just a wonderful man. And he told me one day, he says, Tony, you're going to be very successful in life because you know how to solve problems, and the world has a lot of problems that need to be solved. And that really stuck with me. That was 30 some odd years ago. And that's kind of been my story ever since, is just going, hey, what are the problems that are around me in life? So after going from engineering, I got into technology pretty early. I realized that technology was kind of shifting. This was probably like 1995, and started learning about tech, switched from engineering into technology, and then got into the internet. And, and I was very fortunate in 1998 to be an early adopter when I realized that you could take data online. And somebody that I don't even know could put data into the internet, and I could look at it and then give it out to somebody else. That was fascinating to me. And that's what drew me into technology and developing stuff. So, and that led me into my next step in my career, which is going to work for a man named Dave Ramsey. If you're familiar with him, he's a big guy over in the United States. Has about 1,000 employees or something, but Dave started really small. So I joined Dave when it was about 30 employees. And then quickly got into leadership with Dave, and then went through becoming a VP, CIO, and COO of the company, helping with strategy. But the coolest thing, we talk about accomplishments, was going in and actually being one of the first. When you think about in the internet, we were doing lead generation online. So we were literally taking real estate leads and investment leads online, built on online systems. I actually built the first data system that actually real estate people looking for real estate help would put it online, and we built that, launched it in early 2002, And, that was ahead of the curve. That was before everybody else was doing this. I think Home Gain was one of the few companies out there doing it at the time. And so that was a major accomplishment. We did early subscription-based websites back in 2001, 2002. We did online budgeting. Before Mint.com was a thing, it was 2005. We launched our first online budgeting tool at Dave Ramsey's. And, that was a great history. Now I'm doing that kind of stuff on my own. I'm a lot smaller, obviously, but taking my own teachings, my own learnings, and kind of putting them out there and letting them take fruit in people's lives.
Thank you. So tell us how entrepreneurs can empower themselves to make the millionaire choice.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, if I could go back, and this is when you think back over history, you go, what would I learn from my mistakes? The things, what would I do differently? And I think one of those is to really adopt a mindset of the money may not always be there. There's going to be good seasons and there's going to be bad seasons, and you store up in the good seasons. So when you hit the bad seasons, you're able to get through it and make better decisions. So for example, a lot of times people will, when they start making a lot of money, they will start spending a lot of money, right? They increase their cost of living, everything goes up. And then when that run comes to an end, or maybe you hit a downturn, let's say like 2008 in the United States, there's an economic shift. We're going through an economic shift right now. If people don't know about it, there's a lot of layoffs going on all across America, all across the world. So you're seeing a tightening of the economy. And some people are not preparing for that. And so when you talk about making the millionaire choice, it's really about going, okay, what is money? Like having a true concept of what is money and how to really leverage it in your life to prepare like for real wealth. So for example, one of the things as I continue to mature in my financial space is I'm actually adopting the mindset of what does it look like to prepare my family line for like 30 generations, for like 1,000 years. This is all new thinking for me. So it's like, how do I set my family up for 1,000 years? And it sounds crazy to say that, but there are other families that have done this very thing, right? And you see those families are some of the families that are actually, controlling a lot of the different companies, a lot of the different things going on in the world. So the first step, Lily, is to go, hey, mentally, I'm moving into a place of abundance. What am I going to do with the abundance that is coming into my life? Am I going to mismanage it, or am I going to manage it well? And that means preparing for future generations, getting around the right people. I think that's one of the biggest things you can do is just surround yourself with the right people. And sometimes that doesn't mean just a bunch of rich people. It means people who are making really good decisions in their lives, their money, their wealth. And that's some of the first things I would say about making the millionaire choice.
Thank you. What do you feel is different in terms of your way of making the millionaire choice versus, let's say, other people who are choosing to become millionaires and they don't?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing when I'm coaching people financially, whether they are into money or not, it really comes down to mindset. So I break it down into 3 different categories. So the first is you've got to have a mindset shift. If you're moving from poverty to abundance, or even people that have their own small businesses, they still could have a small business but have a poverty mindset. So because they're struggling, they're trying to break free from old ways of thinking, from family, years and years and decades and generations of family thinking, and they're trying to break free to that next level. And so you have to shift your mindset first, which is what I did. Once I shifted my mindset, then I had to go, okay, how do I get money smart? Because, in the United States, you don't learn about money in school. And even if you do, you learn it for about maybe 3 months and then you're done. They give you a financial literacy course. So, but what you have to understand with money and wealth is it needs to be a lifelong learning process. So just like you spend 12 years learning math, English, and science in school, you should think about money the same way. You should go, hey, I need to be a lifelong learner of how to manage my money, how to steward my money. And we don't learn that. And I have a lot of theories and philosophies on why we're not taught that stuff. But that is a key component to go, hey, how do I get money smart? And then how do I surround myself? How do I find a money mentor? And there's a set process. If you stack this stuff up, what you find is that everybody that builds wealth kind of follows the same process, right? They have to make a money mindset shift, right? And some of them are born into the mindset. If you're born into wealth, then you're already born into the mindset. But you still have to go through the process of getting money smart, because you still have to learn it. No one is born with that financial knowledge. They have to spend time learning it. And then inside of that, there's people you're surrounding yourself with. So those are set steps. And then you get into financial learning and education and just the habits, right? That's the strategy and the habits. So there's a stack that goes to it.
Thank you. How do you advise entrepreneurs to overcome self-sabotage in terms of taking the right financial decisions for themselves?
Wow, that's a good question. Financial sabotage, right decisions. Well, obviously, has never stopped learning, right? There's a wonderful guy online. His name's Aman Godzi. He started his entrepreneurial journey when he was about 14. He started creating Instagram channels, and then he would sell those Instagram channels, build up the followers and then sell the channels off. And so that was his first kind of step into it. Then he got into, doing his own internet marketing company. And one of the things he'll tell you, and you watch him, he'll say like, what's the secret of my success? He went through a phase of reading a book a week for 52 weeks a year. And he did that for 3 years. So he did that for 3 years from the ages, I think of about, like 17 to 20, somewhere in there. So, on my journey, I made the millionaire choice at 25. I was a millionaire by 40. That was my goal. And Mon Godzi was a millionaire at age 21. And I think he claims his net worth is over $80 million at age 23, 24. So how did he do that? Well, one of those is he actually put the effort in to make the knowledge, right? To get the knowledge that he wanted. He got around the right people. So you talk about self-sabotage, get wise counsel. A lot of people try to make their own decisions. That's why you see 60% of businesses in the USA fail in the first 3 years, is because they're learning for the first time, and their method of learning is not very good. Like, some people learn by their mistakes. I prefer to learn from other people's mistakes as much as possible, so you don't have to repeat their mistakes. And so all of the good life choices for entrepreneurs have pretty much already been made, but also all of the bad ones, right? So you can learn from both the people who made bad choices, didn't end up well, or people who made good choices and ended up in a better place. And I think those are our key steps to go, hey, how do I succeed as an entrepreneur? The other thing I would say on my own entrepreneurial journey is sales. Like, I'm not a sales guy. When I worked as a builder, I'm a builder entrepreneur. I like to build things. I'm an engineer. I like to build things. But as an entrepreneur, one of the key skills you need to have is sales. Like, you have to learn to sell. You have to learn to be good at it. Whether you're selling ideas or you're selling products, you have to sell.
Thank you. What about perfectionist entrepreneurs that, let's say, have a great product or service, and then when it comes to actually selling it, let's say they attract a lot of high quality leads, and when it comes to it, they blow it because they are self-sabotaging in the sense of they ruin it. They ruin things at the last second just because they start to have self-doubt. What advice do you have for those entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I think the biggest key that I learned early in my career was understand people's personalities and understand yourself, but also understand the people around you. And you can go through training that equips you to read people. So for example, I am a highly detail-oriented type person. So I tend to overindulge in information. I believe you should know everything about everything. So I can go on for hours just telling people about things. So I have to learn to not self-sabotage by over providing information to someone who is a quick decision maker, right? I have to cut the amount of information down to go, hey, they only need about 10% of what I actually know. So I just have to equip that person to make the decision that they need to make, which is to buy my product. So don't get caught up in 30 minutes of explanation when only 5 minutes will do. And so that's one way, but I think understanding that and conversely too, if you're a high D type entrepreneur or a very alpha type entrepreneur, you can tend to try to go for the sell too quick when you should be providing a lot of information. So it can work both ways, but understanding people's personalities is one of the key things. I was very fortunate at age 31 to be able to go through training on that, and that really helped me a lot to just do a better job and better job in leadership as well.
Thank you. How can entrepreneurs overcome self-doubt when it comes to taking the millionaire choice?
Wow, that's a good one too. It's interesting as I coach people, there's some kind of mystique about the word millionaire, and it goes down to your mindset. It's like I run into people that say they don't want to be a millionaire, and I'm like, oh, so you want to be poor? because you're choosing to be poor. If you're not choosing to be a millionaire, you're choosing to be poor. And you can choose either one because both are achievable. It's just a question of what you want to achieve. So for an entrepreneur, the first thing is to go, hey, it's okay. What do is it okay to build wealth? Yeah, it's okay. Now, wealth can be dangerous. If you don't have the right mindset, it can be dangerous. The fastest way, and I hope I don't offend people by saying this, but the fastest way to lose half your wealth that you build up, I don't care if it's $1 million, $5 million, $10 million, $100 million, or ask Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos. Is to screw up your marriage and to go through a divorce. And that's a quick way to lose 50% of everything that you've worked for together. And it's unhealthy. So that's a self-sabotage methodology, is you're choosing to focus more on things that are not quite as important. And, and I'm speaking out of experience because I almost did the same thing. I was razor close to, blowing up my own marriage. And I made the choice to go, hey, I've messed up. I need to fix this. And I had to get a strategy together on how to fix what I had broken, right? And we were able to make that work. So keep going. But is that helpful?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
What are the top 5 steps you recommend entrepreneurs take in order to choose to become millionaires?
Top 5 steps. Well, number 1 would be to get in proximity of people who are driven to create wealth, but the right people, right? Because not all the people that are building wealth are of the right heart or right mindset. And so that would be number 1, is to get around the right people. Put yourself in proximity because opportunities will come to you. They'll find you. Number 2 would study money, learn about how it works. So there's dozens of ways to build wealth. Don't just pick one, right? A lot of people are just sticking all their money in the stock market. That's to me, I don't have any money in the stock market right now. And so I've chosen not to use the stock market at this time. Have I had money in the stock market before? Yeah, I have. I've got friends that do day trading. So really find a method that you can do that. Think about cash flow and what are the streams, either 1, 2, 3, 4 streams that are producing cash flow. For me, I was very fortunate to be successful in the corporate world. And do very, very well in the corporate world. But I had a single income stream. At that time, I wish I had been putting effort in and taking some of my money I made in corporate into producing more substantive income streams. And I was getting into that some. I bought some real estate. I made $1 million on real estate, which is not bad. It's just not great. I've met other people that made a lot more than that. And so, income stream. So first, the people you're around. Second, get money smart. Third, multiple income stream models, keep learning. Develop your skills. You just keep working on skills. Bring good people around you. Surround yourself with good people on your team. And that's probably become a good judge of talent, and if you can't judge people real well, then you can surround yourself with bad people. You can also hire bad people. And entrepreneurs by nature need to have an eye for talent. If they don't have it, then they need to find somebody on their team that does have an eye for talent. And I've seen both work. I've seen people that hired bad talent after bad talent after bad talent. How can you make so many bad hiring decisions? Versus myself, I've only made a few bad hiring decisions. I've made pretty good hiring decisions throughout my career. And I think it comes down to judge of talent. Can you really judge somebody's talent? And do you have that capability?
Thank you. What's the difference between wishing to become a millionaire and choosing to become a millionaire? And is there really a difference there?
Yeah, absolutely. And it goes back to mindset, like we said before, is to realizing choosing is empowering, right? And that's what I love about what I've learned about wealth, is that there's a set repeatable step process, right? So that's the beautiful thing. When you look at the United States, at least a couple of years ago, had 40% of the world's millionaires, but we only have 3% of the world's population. So we have, 15 times roughly more millionaires in the United States than we should have per capita in the world. So there's several reasons behind that, which we probably don't have time to go into right now. But it is definitely a choice, and going, hey, what are the choices I need to make? And everybody has the same amount of time, Lily. And it's really, what do you do with that time? So a lot of people who are in poverty are watching TV or doing entertainment or playing video games or doing Facebook, social media. you don't see millionaires doing that. You don't see wealthy people that are building. They choose to do different things with their time, and that's really one of the key elements, is to go, hey, how am I actually using my time in my choices, right? And then you do strategy, actions, and habits. So you can create a stack that will predetermine you're going to build wealth. And that's the beautiful thing about wealth building, is if you find that stack and you do those actions, you will end up building wealth.
Thank you. What are the routines and habits that millionaires have that most other people don't?
Yeah, I'll list a few. One would definitely be positive affirmations about yourself, your environment, just to go, hey, this is what I want to create. So, words have power, and what you speak, you become, right? So if you're speaking negative things about you, or you're taking in negative things about yourself, you're going to manifest those kind of negative things. A lot of people don't like, over in the States, there's quite a few people don't like the word manifest, but you do create energy. Like, there's energy around you, and you are creating that energy by what you're thinking about, what you're doing, the actions you take. And they're either going to be positive energy things or negative, right? So it's probably not the best example, but we'll just use it as an example. Men in general. I'm a man. Let's talk about men in general. There's a big pornography addiction in the United States, and it's not healthy, because what happens is you create grooves in your mind, the way your mind thinks, the way your mind works, and you've got a bunch of young men that are getting there. So until those young men deal with that issue, their mind can't be reallocated. Their thinking processes can't be reallocated onto wealth, like the things that actually build wealth, because it's consumed with other things. So those are addictions that come in place. So we have to deal with those, get those out of our lives. That's one example for men. For women, it would be something else. And yeah, that's one key one, is getting your mindset, your strategies in place, actions and habits, right? So you got to be able to stack the habits up. So one would be take care of that. Another one would be get up early. When you look at millionaires and really wealthy people, they have certain things in common. Get up, do your affirmations, do some exercise, get some energy, eat healthy, right? They're not eating junk food, not eating fast food. They're eating healthier things for their bodies. And there's probably some lists out there. You make me want to publish my own list, Lily. When you ask me that, I should probably publish my own list. But, just search for those things, because they are repeatable, right? Go to bed early, right? I'm a night owl, but I'm also a morning person. But I function my best at peak if I go to bed about 10 p.m. and I get up about 6 a.m. So, somewhere in that window between 7 and 8 hours of sleep is what I personally need. That's when I'm at my healthiest. That's when I perform my best. And so those are repeatable processes that anybody can do.
Thank you. For entrepreneurs that are already in debt, what steps should they be taking in order to kind of start creating that millionaire lifestyle and the millionaire, actual funds in the bank?
Yeah. So I've adopted this philosophy of invest your way out of debt, don't work your way out of debt. So, those are two different philosophies. Working your way, you have to create income and then pay off your debt. Investing your way, you're looking for things that actually outpace your debt, right? So that's a little bit of leverage, so you want something that creates cash flow. So, if you get into real estate, there's always risk with debt. So you always have to remember that. So I am an anti-debt guy. I was debt-free for about a decade. I'm back in a little bit of debt right now. On a property I have, but my asset, cash flow wise, I'm still very, very up on this asset, right? So I've got $1.5 million asset. I'm about $400,000 leveraged on it. So that's not a bad ratio, right? So I'm not over leveraged. But for example, I've told a number of people over the last 7 years, I'm like, hey, gold, silver, land and real estate, and cryptocurrency right now is a good thing to play with. I mean, Bitcoin, when I was investing in Bitcoin, it was like $6,500 a coin. Now it's right around 100,000. So, and I tried to tell people to get into this for years, and then they didn't. Now, some of my friends did get in. They are making money at it. They're doing pretty well. So when you go, hey, I put $1 in to Bitcoin in 2017, now it's $10 because it's gone up over 10x. It's actually gone up closer to 15x. So when you look at that, you're going, oh, I can either work my way out of debt with the money I make, or I can take that money, invest it in something. And so when that grows, that can pay off your debt. So those are just different strategies. So look for those. A lot of people, average people stick their money in mutual funds, which is going to get you, 7 to 10%. If you go into other assets like syndicated real estate, or even right now, gold and silver would be a really big one. There's a lot of people projecting gold is starting to break up. Says gold's going to hit $15,000, $25,000 an ounce. I can tell you some reasons behind that. Silver is supposed to go to $500 an ounce. All the world banks right now, Lily, are buying gold and silver. All the global banks are buying gold and silver. All of these, JP Morgan Chase Bank has been buying it 15 years. There's a lot of companies that know this. We're going through this financial transition. And so they are buying up these assets that are going to hold value in the future. And I don't know if you know about this, BlackRock. You know who BlackRock is, right, Lily?
Yes.
Yeah, so BlackRock started buying up single-family homes in the United States back in like 2011, and they were denied it for over a decade, and then now it's out. Like that's what they've been doing, and their goal is to own 40% of single-family homes in the United States. So that's it's very interesting strategy to see them moving from the stock market into real tangible assets like land and real estate. So when you say, how does a millionaire do that, or a future millionaire, I call them future millionaires, Lily, people who want to be there but aren't, is you've got to look at what are real assets, which are always the same for 3,000 years. It's land and real estate, gold and silver, and then businesses that produce a product or service that you can own or have partial ownership in. And when I say ownership or partial ownership, I'm not talking about stocks. I'm talking about good groundbreaking businesses that are kind of like in your local area or somewhere where you've got a smaller group of owners, not like a big group of owners where you got fractional, stock. I think those days are actually trending away from us.
Thank you. What about for those entrepreneurs that have no cash to spare in order to invest in anything?
Ugh. Well, then you got to decide if you're in the right business. So I think I've had a number of friends that got into businesses like coffee shops and things like that, which is interesting because some coffee shops take off, they become franchises, others kind of die on the vine. And I think the common theme about that is, like I said before, if you're not producing cash flow in your business or you don't see the potential to get there soon, then you're either in the wrong business or you don't know what you're doing and you need to get some help, right? And so a lot of business owners try to figure it out for themselves when they really should go to a small business training first before, or if they're already in the business, they need to go to invest in some small business training. So we have a Nashville Entrepreneur Center here in town. That's exactly what they are. They're like an incubator for small business owners to help get them education. They pair them with mentors so that they have a business mentor. And I think that's super, super important to do. And go, hey, am I in the right business? Because you could be trying to do something that has no potential. For example, a business model that has a 2% profit margin or a 5% profit margin versus a business that has a 30% profit margin. A roofing service business, putting a roof on a house, has like a 30% profit margin versus a restaurant business might have 5 to 10%. So you do the same amount of work, each business, but you're getting 5-6 times the profit off of one business model versus the other. So just understanding that principle. I think a lot of small business owners don't even understand that basic principle, like what's my profit margin on my business?
Thank you. Tell us about your top 5 best choices you've ever made that have led you to become a millionaire.
Oh, well, one is just being a lifelong learner to go, hey, I have to learn something new every day. So that principle has become for me is how do I become 1% better every day? And that kind of a concept, like I'm going to learn something new every single day that's going to add value to my life. And what happens is over time, I'm 50 in my 50s now, that if you do that from age 25 to 50, that's 25 years of compounding value in your life. You're getting smarter, you're learning more. You're being able to apply it. Okay. The second one would be you have to put money back consistently, like every month. Every time you get $1 or a pound or whatever, a sterling or, what's another one? A euro, right? Whatever it is you're getting, where are you going to put that money? So this is a mindset shift. And honestly, I've invested before. But even this is newer thinking for me to go, no, every dollar I get, it's going to return to me something somewhere. Where am I going to put it that is going to return something to me? And if you can adopt that, like at a young age, when you're making a little bit of money, then you can carry that habit with you to when you're making a lot of money. And what happens is, I've heard some people go as far, Lily, as to go, no, I don't spend the money I make. I invest the money I make. And then when the money I invested actually produces money for me, then I spend it. So they've shifted to go, every dollar I make has to go into an investment. And then when my investments are big enough to buy the things I want, then I've done something. So, and that's newer thinking for me. And I think those are key elements, is to realize every dollar, every amount of money you earn or income create, it's actually a precious commodity. And I think sometimes we get disconnected from it a little bit, to go, hey, this is a piece of paper, spend it. Or it's a one or a zero in my phone, and I can just, stick it up to and pay it with Apple Pay or whatever. And we're becoming increasingly disconnected from our money. Whereas back when it was gold and silver, it was a big deal. People were like, oh, I got a piece of gold, or I got a piece of silver. Like, it was very tangible. It's very conscious to us. The money we have today is very unconscious to us. Almost doesn't feel like it's real. And so we spend it very frivolously.
Yes, I actually agree. I find, for example, in the very odd occasion when I receive cash, it's not been it's been quite a long time since I received cash, but when I do, I remember that it feels so great to actually have the cash in your hand and to touch it.
Mm-hmm.
And, to receive like cash for your work, it's like, oh my God, it's so amazing. Even though, it could be a lot less than, a few £1,000 that you receive in your account. And somehow you get more joy, like seeing it and feeling it in your hand. So yeah, I fully agree there. What's your last message for entrepreneurs?
Oh gosh, I would say if you've got it in you and you've got it in your heart to go build something, then go do it. But don't do it alone, right? If you do it alone, it's hard. If you find people to do it with you, or find a network, or bring people into your circle, the energy builds. It's like it compounds. And I think you're going to have a lot higher chance of success. Is the positive, surround yourself with positive people, positive energy that are going in the direction you want to go. Right. And that way you're kind of all moving in the same direction, and you can build on each other. Don't be isolated. Don't isolate yourself.
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential business titans, providing you with the insights to awaken to your full potential, so you can get paid to be yourself, find true happiness, and manifest anything you desire.